Just before we get into this video, guys, if you want to follow me on social media, on Twitter and Instagram, the links are here. And if you also want to support me on Patreon as well and help out my channel, that would be absolutely awesome as well. But let's get on with the video. Hey guys, it is Wingy here and welcome to a brand new video. Obviously, as I'm making this is brand new. It's actually pissing me off how I keep saying that. I don't even know why. But anyway, yes, in today's video, I want to talk about the DCEU, or specifically the future of the DCEU. I just want to give out some suggestions today about certain characters that I would love to see appear at some point. We obviously know that we're getting characters like Shazam and Aquaman, well, his solo movie anyway, potentially a Batgirl movie and a Gotham Sirens movie, but here are some other characters that I personally would like to see on the big screen. First up, Nightwing. Now, I've spoken about Nightwing before in terms of maybe a CW show, but I'd also quite like to see him on the big screen as well. The main reason for this, I mean, we've already established in Batman v Superman, I think it was, that Robins have been in this universe before, so it would make sense then that there is already a Nightwing that exists within this universe so far. The main reason that I'm thinking about Nightwing is just because, one, he's a really cool character, and I think he just deserves his shine. We don't necessarily need to see him grow from being a Robin into Nightwing. I think it'd be cool to sort of learn the backstory through dialogue, but we actually see the man that Dick Grayson has become. And I think the second reason is because well, depending on what day of the week it is, Ben Affleck does or doesn't know whether or not he's playing Batman in the future. The last that I heard, I think he's on board again, but I mean, next week it might be totally different. So right there, you have a character that can take up the mantle of Batman should Ben Affleck step down from the role. I think it'd be a lot more interesting to see somebody else take on the mantle of Batman as opposed to them just recasting Bruce Wayne. Let's be honest, as much as Bruce Wayne is iconic and he is the definitive Batman, I just think it'd be more interesting and a bit different to see somebody else in that role and see how they adjust to it. You can still have Bruce Wayne about, but you don't necessarily have to have him as Batman. You can see Dick Grayson grow into that role. Maybe not straight away, because I would like to see Nightwing do his own thing first, but in the future it's a possibility. Whether or not Ben Affleck stays, I don't know, but either way, that's a backup option. I'd rather see that than Jake Gyllenhaal or somebody else play Batman. Although I think Jake Gyllenhaal's going to be Mysterio now, so that's interesting. Although Jake Gyllenhaal could have been good as Nightwing, thinking about it. Or is he a bit too old now? I don't know. Next character that I want to see on the big screen is the Green Arrow. No, I just love Green Arrow. That's more or less the reason why I want to see him in the DCEU. Now, don't get me wrong. Stephen Amell's version of the Green Arrow is great. I love the TV show Arrow. For a good chunk of time, it was my favourite TV show. But I think if you are going to expand the DC cinematic universe, you do need to introduce big staple characters like this. I'd love to see the Green Arrow, and I think Black Canary is going to be a part of the Gotham Sirens movie. I don't know how true that is, but if that's the case, that makes perfect sense, because then we can finally fucking see the Green Arrow and Black Canary in a relationship in some way, shape or form on the screen. Yes, I am quite bitter about Felicity still. But no, the Green Arrow, there's lots of different ways that you can interpret this character, and I think if you did a sort of Green Arrow Year 1 movie, and you focus on him becoming the Green Arrow on that island, it gives you a survival movie, and that's something different. If DC want to separate themselves from Marvel, which I imagine they want to do, then make each movie totally different. If we have a survival movie with Green Arrow, then that's great. It'd also be interesting, I mean, in my head, what I would like is to see a younger Oliver Queen who's a bit hot-headed and a bit reckless, and maybe somebody like a Bruce Wayne can be a sort of mentor figure in a similar way to how Tony Stark is to Peter Parker. And I know I said separate yourselves from Marvel while suggesting do something that Marvel are doing, but it's not really a dynamic that we've seen too much. I don't know if it'd work in practice, but it's just a nice idea that I have. Because, I mean, the similarities between Batman and Green Arrow, well, there's a lot of them. They both have a sidekick who dresses in red. They're both rich boy billionaires. They both don't have any superpowers. So you can see them bond over that, or failing that, we could see Green Lantern and Green Arrow have a relationship like they do in the comics. I don't know who you get, though. I mean, a lot of people want Charlie Hunnam, but I think that's his name, is it? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know who you get. He seems like a good suggestion, but what do I know? I just want to see Green Arrow, and preferably with the Black Canary as well. Next, a Constantine or maybe even a Justice League Dark movie. Again, if you want to separate yourself from Marvel, then do something that is totally different. Constantine / Justice League Dark could be a really interesting direction to take the DCEU in. Now, we've already sort of seen the mystical, dark arty style thing in the DC movies before with Enchantress and Suicide Squad, and I mean, obviously that really went well. But Constantine is such a fan favourite favourite character, and I think the Justice League Dark movie that came out recently, a load of people liked it. And I want to see more of that stuff on the big screen. Focus on the dark arts, focus on magic, focus on the occult. And whilst these characters aren't necessarily household names in the same vein as a Superman or a Flash, look at what Marvel did with Guardians of the Galaxy. They don't have to be big names for it to be a big hit. I guess as well with John Constantine's popularity, with the demand for him to be back on TV and sort of joining up with the legends, I think that sort of momentum and that sort of buzz, if they announce that, well, we've got a movie as well, that could be a really interesting direction to take it. But maybe not bring Keanu Reeves back. Then the next one that I want to talk about now is The Question. Again, just something different. The Question is such an interesting character, and I think you can properly do a real gritty noir movie with this guy. The Question is a detective, and he also can have some brutal methods. And also Hub City in the comics is, well, a lot worse than Gotham, and we all know how bad Gotham can be at times. So show that. Show a more darker, gritty, realistic side of the universe. Alright, an even grittier and darker side of the universe. Again, this isn't really a household name. Not many people know who The Question is, but I think you could come up with a really interesting storyline. Visually, this could be something quite interesting as well. And whilst you don't necessarily have to have these characters, and this isn't just for The Question, this sort of goes for a lot of them, maybe not Green Arrow, you don't necessarily have to have them join up with the rest of the Justice League all the time. Just sort of link the universe together. You can have references to Batman, you can have references to Superman, but The Question, I think, would be a character that works very much by himself. I think what they're doing with the Shazam movie is also that. I think they're going to make references, but I don't think they're going to make him explicitly sort of team up with people, or at least initially. So do the exact same with The Question. I also think as well, the way that technology's gone, I think you can make it really cool, just the blank face that he has. And I guess it wouldn't be too expensive for costumes either, seeing as he just wears like a suit, an overcoat and a hat. So I'm saving you money at the same time, DC. I'm thinking this through. I don't know why, but for some reason, I've just got like a Sin City style movie for The Question. I've just got that in my head. Maybe not exactly like that, but something like that, if that makes sense. Maybe even Watchmen vibe. It's a unique character, and I think it'd be a shame if we don't really see a version of The Question on the big screen at some point, whether it's part of this expanded universe or not. And then last, but by no means least, Martian Manhunter. Now this is a fan favourite character. I adore Martian Manhunter. I think he's so cool. Now the problem is with Martian Manhunter, I don't know if he could be fine by himself in terms of a movie, or whether or not you may need to team him up with somebody. I do think that his backstory is interesting enough where you don't really need anybody else, but I could see a great opportunity here to team up the Martian Manhunter with Superman in terms of getting revenge on the White Martians or something like that. You can make it a very space orientated movie. In fact, could just set it on Mars. Even though a lot of the time he is a calm and collected figure, he has had such a tragic backstory, so I would love to see that explored and to see just who he really is. Plus, he's one of the most powerful characters in the DC universe, so to see that on screen would be just fucking awesome. Like I say, a solo movie I'm not 100% sure on. I think maybe team him up with Superman, but who knows? I mean, they could do anything. Maybe show him adjusting to life on Earth as well. I know they kind of did that with Superman, but I think it'd be a lot more interesting with Martian Manhunter because he actually has to change his physical appearance to just blend in. Yeah, there's stuff you could do with that. But they are just a few of my suggestions. Let me know in the comments below, who do you want to see on the big screen in the DC movies at some point? I know some people are probably just going to say none of them because they'll ruin them, but there you go. Also, the Q&A that I said I was going to be doing, that will probably be the next video that comes out as well, just so people know. And I have said before that I am going away this weekend, so I don't know if the video will be up before I go away or during when I'm away. It might be like out next week, so yeah, just so you guys know. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on it, subscribe for more, and follow me on social media and Patreon and all that sort of good stuff. And if you do any of those things, then I would love you forever. But until next time, guys, you take care of yourselves. Goodbye. Again, this isn't a household name. The vision between the Black Canary and the Green Arrow on the big screen as well. Better turn that off. Why is it always whenever I film a video somebody tries to get in contact with me?